I grew up in Brazil in the 90s. It was a very sex-centric culture. Being 20, 21 and having sex with your girlfriend was like the most normal thing ever. And like failing to do that kind of felt like being less of a man to an extent. At 21, I met a girl, like she was really serious about going to church. And on our second date together, she told me that she wanted to save herself for marriage, to not have sex before marriage. And that was a really huge bombshell for me. And like I spoke to my friends about this new relationship that I was starting. And like they all thought I was crazy, that I should like just break up and stuff. I felt like less of a man because I wasn't having sex. Also, there was the natural part of my flesh. I've been used to watching porn since I was 9. Of course, I needed to have sex, or at least I felt like I did. It wasn't even in my radar to try to resist temptation. So I wasn't having, say, a full meal with Talitha. So I saw pornography of having snacks on the side to like cover what I thought was my needs. I honestly thought that like in our situation, sex was good, would be great for us, that like it's something that like would mean a lot to me, of course, like I loved her already. But at the same time, I also had that I think it was a big part of my mind that believed that like I was failing as a man because I couldn't get her to that point. Throughout those whole first 2 years, we were fighting all the time. One day I was on a bus going to work. The bus trip took like 40 minutes. So I was reading the Bible, and I started getting emotional in a way that like wasn't normal to me at all. It felt like I had this download of information, like this is right, this is wrong. And like the fact that I've been going on the wrong path and thinking that I'm okay, that I'm going in the right path, really made me feel shame. That night we went to church. I like just ran to the front, knelt down, because the sense that I was so loved and so protected, and at the same time like I knew that I had done everything wrong. But still, the image I got was that I was a bird with a broken wing trying to fly, and God was taking me from somewhere and bringing me to where I needed to be. That was the moment where God was going around my mind, my own barriers that I had put there, like my own rationalizations. And he was showing me in my heart, like his truth, like who he was and how he loved me and how he could free me. And I remember the sense of his love and his righteousness was so strong that the thought, even trying to get Talitha to sleep with me, was like weird, felt wrong, like I didn't want to do it. Of course, I didn't stop liking sex, but like the fact that I knew now that like God exists, God was so righteous, so perfect, and that I was going against his will by doing it that way, that made like the interest for the thing go away completely. Like I could feel a definite shift. 8 months after that, I asked her to marry me. We could see God's provision in every step of the way once we decided to follow his will, till we eventually were able to get married like a year and a half later. And 2 months before we were married, I got a job offer from a company here in Vancouver. Suddenly, I went from like not being able to pay rent to being in one of the most expensive cities in the world. Now we've been in Vancouver for 6 years and a half, and we just welcomed our first baby daughter, which is definitely a blessing. The fact that she is a girl, I definitely can see even more like how I was wrong back then. I pray that we were able to teach her and to show her that God is there for her and he's real. His grace is not just a passive grace. His grace involves also him knowing where you will fall and giving you a provision of grace, a provision of empowerment, let's say, so you can choose not to fall.